That mint plant you bought at the grocery store is already dying, not because of anything you did, but because of what was done to it before you ever touched it. A healthy mint stem will double in length within 10 days of being placed in water, but only if you cut it at the right node. Most people miss the node by 2 centimeters. That's the difference between roots and rot. And there's something else happening inside that grocery store pot that nobody tells you about. Something that starts the moment the plant is potted for mass retail and doesn't stop until you intervene. We're going to get to that. But by the end of this, you'll know exactly why your mint keeps collapsing and the one repotting decision that changes everything within a week. Right, so here's what actually happens. You buy a mint plant, probably because you wanted one sprig for a mojito and somehow that felt more efficient. You put it on a sunny windowsill, you water it from the top, and for about 2 weeks, it looks absolutely fine. And then it just collapses, yellows, goes floppy. And you assume you either overwatered it or underwatered it because those are the only 2 options that seem to exist in the beginner plant world. But here's the thing, you probably did neither. The problem started before you got home. Grocery store mint is packed into the smallest possible container, usually a 3-inch plastic pot with no drainage, sometimes with multiple plants crammed together to look fuller on the shelf. By the time you buy it, the roots are already circling the bottom of that pot, which means they've run out of space, which means the plant is already under stress. It looks alive because mint is tenacious, but it's not thriving. It's surviving, just barely, on the reserves it built up in the grower's greenhouse. The pot is the problem, not you. So the first thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is to get it out of that container within 48 hours of bringing it home. You want a 6-inch pot specifically. Not 4, not 8, 6. Because mint in too small a pot will root bind again within weeks, and mint in too large a pot will hold more water than the roots can use, which leads to that slow suffocation at the root level that looks from the top like overwatering. 6 inches gives the roots room to spread without drowning them in excess soil. And the pot must have drainage holes, not optional, not it'll probably be fine, non-negotiable. Because what happens without drainage is that water pools at the bottom and creates a saturated zone your roots literally cannot breathe through. Root cells need oxygen. They're not fish. When you repot, go with a mix that's about 2/3 standard potting soil and 1/3 perlite. Perlite is just those small white particles that look like tiny styrofoam beads. They create air pockets in the soil and stop it from compacting into a dense brick that traps moisture at the root zone. Gently loosen the roots when you take the plant out. They'll probably be coiled into a tight ball, and encourage them to spread outward before you set it in the new pot. This is the part that feels violent but is actually an act of care. And honestly, placement matters more than most people think. Mint wants 4 to 6 hours of direct light per day, and south-facing windows are your best option in the northern hemisphere for consistent daily exposure. But, and this is the counterintuitive part, mint is not a heat-loving plant. The ideal temperature range is 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a cool weather herb. Put it directly above a radiator or in a hot south-facing window in July with no airflow, and you'll get something that looks lush for a week and then bolts, sends up flower spikes, turns bitter, and starts to decline. If you see tiny flower buds forming, pinch them off immediately. Flowering is the plant redirecting every resource it has into seed production. It's the plant trying to finish its life cycle. Cut those buds and redirect that energy back into the leaves. If you're still here and you haven't already gone to check on your mint, hit subscribe to Home Plants Hacks because we go this specific every single week and you clearly need this information in your life. Now, watering. The thing is, overwatering is the most common mint killer, but not for the reason most people think. It's not that water itself is bad. It's that constantly saturated soil creates an environment where a specific type of root rot thrives, and by the time you see yellow leaves or a collapsed stem, the root system is already compromised. The leaves are the last thing to know. The roots have been struggling for days before the surface shows anything. Here's what you actually do. Stick your finger 2 inches into the soil, not 1 inch, 2. If it feels moist at that depth, do not water. If it feels dry, water thoroughly. Not a splash, but enough that water comes through the drainage holes at the bottom. Then let it drain completely before putting it back on any surface. The bottom of the pot should never be sitting in standing water. Ever. Some people use saucers and just leave the water in there thinking the plant will drink it up. And it will, up to a point. And then the roots closest to the bottom will start to drown. Bottom watering works, but only if you pull the pot out of the water after 20 minutes. Fertilizer is something most beginners skip entirely, and you can see it in the plants. Pale, slow-growing, smaller leaves than the variety should produce. A balanced 10-10-10 fertilizer at half strength, applied every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season, is genuinely the difference between a mint plant that looks like it's tolerating your home and one that's actually thriving in it. Half strength because mint is not a heavy feeder, and full-strength fertilizer can burn the roots. Dilute it more than the bottle says. You can always feed more next time. And now the pruning detail, because this is where the biology gets genuinely interesting, and it connects directly to why propagation works as well as it does. When you cut a mint stem, you don't just want to cut anywhere. You want to cut just above a leaf node, that point on the stem where 2 leaves meet the main stalk. The plant produces a hormone called auxin that regulates growth direction. When you cut above the node, auxin redistribution triggers 2 new growth points instead of 1. You're not just trimming, you're doubling the architecture of the plant. Cut below the node, and you get a clean cut that heals slowly and produces nothing. That's the 2-centimeter margin I mentioned at the start. That's the difference. Which brings us to propagation, and this part is genuinely easier than anyone makes it sound. Take a stem cutting 4 to 6 inches long. Cut it at a 45-degree angle, just below a node. Below this time, because you want the node to be the base from which roots will emerge. Remove all the leaves from the bottom 2 inches. You want bare stem in the water, no leaves, because submerged leaves rot and rot spreads. Place the cutting in a glass of water on a bright windowsill. Not direct sun, just bright indirect light. And change the water every 2 days to prevent bacterial buildup. In as little as 2 days, and I mean that literally, 2 days, you'll see the first tiny white root hairs emerging from the node. Within 10 days, you'll have a cutting ready to pot up into its own 6-inch container. If you want to speed the process up, dip the cut end in rooting hormone powder before placing it in water. It's not required. Mint roots enthusiastically without it, but it reduces the rooting time by about 30% and increases the success rate when you're working with older, woodier stems. One grocery store plant, if you take 6 cuttings, becomes 6 plants within 2 weeks. 6 plants becomes 36. You started because you wanted a mojito. You now have an unlimited supply of mint for the rest of your life. And look, that's the part that still gets me a little. That this thing you bought as an afterthought that came in a 3-inch plastic pot, root-bound and already stressed, it was always capable of this. It just needed someone to understand what it actually needed, which it turns out is not that complicated. A 6-inch pot with drainage, 4 to 6 hours of light, water when the soil is dry 2 inches down, a clean cut above the node. That's most of it. The rest is just paying attention to something that was trying to tell you what it needed the whole time. Before we wrap up, drop a comment and tell me, what's the one thing you've been doing wrong with your mint? Because I have a feeling I already know the answer.